Welcome to this deep dive. Today we're looking into, well, the currents of our digital lives and maybe how they connect to something ancient, the idea of karma. We're here to explore those subtle ways our online actions seem to shape things, not just for us, but the whole, landscape we share online.
Indeed. And it's really about seeing that even in this world of likes and shares, this sort of fleeting space, there's still a kind of cause and effect. It makes us think about the unseen threads, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Between what we click, what we type, and what actually comes back to us inside ourselves and, well, between each other too.
Let's explore that idea, this concept that our online actions are like planting seeds. A kind comment, sharing something inspiring, maybe that's like planting seeds of kindness.
It's a beautiful way to frame it.
And then maybe a reactive post, something typed in anger or a harsh critique. That could be like planting something else entirely, something that down the line brings negativity.
That resonates, yes. And the core of karma, it isn't really some cosmic scoreboard. It's more about the energy we infuse into our actions. Think about it. After you've had a really positive chat online or shared something helpful, do you sometimes feel lighter, a bit uplifted?
Definitely. Yeah, I do.
And the opposite too, right? After getting dragged into something negative, maybe an argument, is there a kind of heaviness and unease that sticks around?
Oh, absolutely. That feeling is so familiar. Getting drawn into some online back and forth can leave a real residue.
Exactly. That felt experience, that's often the immediate fruit, the direct result of the energy we've just put out there.
It makes me think of like a still lake. You drop even a tiny pebble in and the ripples just spread out, don't they?
Precisely. Our online actions, every single like, comment, share, they send out similar ripples into that collective online space we all inhabit.
So it's all connected then.
Deeply connected. That's where this idea of, well, interdependence really comes in. Nothing we do online happens in a vacuum. Imagine you share something, maybe a quote about getting through tough times. Someone sees it, feels a little stronger, maybe reaches out to a friend who's struggling. And that simple act creates more connection, more positivity. It's like a web. And our digital choices are the threads weaving through it.
We actually heard about someone, Sarah, I think, who found herself using social media really reactively. Lots of criticism, negativity.
Yes, that story is quite illustrative.
And apparently it really affected her relationships, made her feel isolated. It was only when she started being more, mindful about her words online, choosing them more carefully, with intention.
Things started to shift, both online and just how she felt generally.
Sarah's experience really shows the power we have, doesn't it? To actively shape our digital world through conscious choices. And we're not just, passive consumers scrolling by.
We're participants, active participants, co-creators, really, of the atmosphere. And it brings up a question, maybe for everyone listening. When you're online, what kind of seeds are you tending in your digital garden? Are they ones that will blossom into connection, understanding, or something else?
That's a really powerful question to sit with. And it's not about blame, is it? It's more about recognizing this interconnectedness, the potential ripple effects of our digital footprint.
Exactly. It's an invitation, really, to use our digital voice with a bit more awareness.
Yeah.
And naturally, that awareness leads us to think about how we actually engage, how to be more present.
Yeah.
Because so many of us, myself included sometimes, get caught in that endless scroll
Oh, tell me about it.
where time just sort of evaporates.
Yeah.
You weren't really there for any of it.
That's so true. The aimless browsing, just jumping from one link, one video to the next, it feels like our attention gets completely fragmented online.
It does. There's this metaphor, like a restless monkey swinging wildly from branch to branch, never quite landing, never quite still. Our minds online can easily fall into that pattern.
That's a good image.
And there's a subtle danger there, isn't there? Some traditions warn about mistaking the reflection for the real thing, like the monkey mesmerized by its own image in a mirror, forgetting the world around it.
Getting lost in the reflection.
Yes, getting caught up in comparison or needing that external validation, that next like, losing touch with what actually nourishes us.
So, okay, how do we counter that? How can we bring more presence into our time online? What are some practical things we can do to shift away from that reactive scrolling?
Well, one really potent practice is simply setting an intention before you even log on. Just asking yourself, okay, why am I opening this app right now? What do I hope to gain or contribute?
Like an anchor.
Exactly, an anchor for your attention. And another simple but effective tool, some call it the one breath rule, before hitting post or reply.
Yeah.
Just pause. Take one conscious breath and check in. Is this response coming from a place of, say, understanding, kindness, or is it maybe impatience, frustration?
That pause, that tiny space before reacting, feels absolutely crucial. What else could help?
Consciously deciding when and for how long you'll be online. Treating screen time as intentional blocks, maybe, rather than the default state whenever there's a spare moment.
Setting boundaries.
Yes. And even while you're scrolling, trying to cultivate a little gratitude, can you notice moments of beauty or kindness between people? Information that genuinely feels useful or inspiring?
Instead of just scanning for the next hit.
Precisely. And engaging with purpose. Maybe seeking out online communities or creators that align with your values, that actually add something meaningful to your life.
It's about curating our digital environment, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just like we choose who we spend time with or what books we read. We heard about a meditation teacher, James.
Ah, yes. James's story.
He apparently used social media very intentionally to share mindfulness practices. And it wasn't just broadcasting, it became a way to build a real global community. Very authentic.
James's example really shows the potential, doesn't it? Technology can be a powerful tool for connection and good, but it needs that conscious intention behind it.
Right.
And it's vital to remember, this is a practice. Cultivating mindful engagement takes patience. Old habits, well, they creep back in.
For sure.
But every time you notice and gently bring yourself back to that presence, back to your intention, you strengthen that mindful muscle, so to speak.
Which leads us naturally to how we actually communicate online. The words we use, our digital speech. It strikes me how much weight words can carry online. They travel so fast,
Yeah.
so far, almost like currents in a vast ocean or seeds scattered by the wind.
That's a potent image. And think about it, have you ever typed something quickly, maybe feeling annoyed or defensive, and then hit send,
Oh, yes,
only to wish you could take it back almost immediately?
definitely. More times than I'd like to admit.
The amplification effect online means our words can land with such impact, often far beyond what we intended in that fleeting moment.
It's true, and it loops back again to that interconnectedness we talked about. What I type doesn't just affect the person I'm talking to.
No.
It sort of adds to the overall vibe of the online space, doesn't it? A supportive message can genuinely lift people, while, a really harsh comment just adds to the noise and negativity.
Precisely. It contributes to the collective atmosphere. So the question becomes, how do we practice what some spiritual traditions call right speech in this digital age? How can we make our online communication more constructive, less harmful?
Well, one filter that seems really useful is that three-part question before posting. Is it true? Is it necessary? And is it kind?
Ah, yes. That simple checklist.
If we all just paused for that, imagine the difference it could make.
It creates such a vital space for reflection, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And maybe instead of jumping straight to criticism or debate, we could try approaching things with more curiosity.
How do you mean?
Like asking open-ended questions, trying to genuinely understand where someone else is coming from, even if you disagree, seeking clarification rather than just reacting.
Shifting from attack to inquiry.
Yes. And consciously choosing to amplify the good stuff. Sharing content that inspires you, that feels uplifting, that offers genuine insight or help, actively adding positivity to the stream.
That feels like a really proactive way to change the dynamic. What about when we inevitably mess up, though? When we do say something online we regret?
Owning it. A genuine apology can be incredibly powerful online, just as it is offline. Acknowledging if your words caused harm, taking responsibility.
Humility online. That's rare.
It can be. And another helpful practice is taking breaks.
Yeah.
Stepping away entirely now and then, a digital detox, even a short one. It helps recalibrate, allows you to return with maybe a clearer perspective, more intention.
Like resetting the system.
Exactly. We heard about Maya, who apparently used to get into lots of online battles, but she learned about compassionate dialogue, practiced more empathy and patience in her responses.
And it changed things for her.
Significantly, yes. It brought more peace to her interactions and seemingly more inner peace, too.
It really underlines that our outer communication is often just a reflection of our inner state, doesn't it?
It truly is.
So as we cultivate more self-awareness, maybe through things like meditation or just quiet reflection, that inner calm, that understanding, it just naturally starts to seep into how we talk to people, online and off.
Beautifully put. And it always comes back to remembering that the technology itself, social media, it's fundamentally neutral. It's a tool.
Right?
Its impact, good, bad, or indifferent, really hinges on how we choose to pick it up and use it.
Which brings us to a really fascinating idea, maybe looking at technology, especially social media, not just as this potential time sink or source of stress, but as a kind of mirror.
Ah, the mirror, yes.
There's that Zen saying, isn't there? The obstacle is the path. Could our struggles with the digital world actually be, well, opportunities, chances for self-discovery?
That's a profound shift in thinking, isn't it? Instead of only seeing the pitfalls, what if we viewed our reactions online, the things that trigger us, the desires that pull us, the comparisons we make as reflections of our own inner patterns, our attachments, our fears?
So it becomes a tool for self-inquiry.
Potentially, yes.
Yeah.
A very powerful one, because it's right there, constantly showing us ourselves if we choose to look.
It reminds me of that old story about the disciple who kept trying to clean the reflections in a tarnished mirror.
Instead of polishing the mirror itself.
Exactly. The real work wasn't out there in the reflections, but in here polishing the mirror of the mind, our own awareness, so we can see clearly ourselves and the world, including the digital world.
Precisely. Our inner state is the mirror, and the quality of our online interactions inevitably reflects the quality of our inner life. There's that teaching, isn't there? You cannot give what you do not possess.
Oh, yeah. Makes sense.
If we cultivate patience, compassion, clarity within ourselves, those qualities naturally begin to flow outwards into our digital presence too.
So how do we actively use this sacred mirror, as you called it? How do we make technology a pathway for growth, practically speaking?
Well, starting simple, maybe before you even open an app, just taking a moment, a conscious breath, cultivating a little inner stillness, setting an intention for mindful interaction.
Starting from a place of calm.
Yes, and when you inevitably see things that spark comparison, someone's amazing vacation, their perfect family, can you consciously shift that? Turn comparison into perhaps celebration, appreciating human creativity, acknowledging everyone's unique journey without feeling diminished yourself.
That's a big shift, from comparison to celebration. I like that. What else?
Creating pockets of silence, intentionally designating tech-free times or zones, allowing yourself space to just be away from the constant input, to reconnect with your own authentic self underneath the digital noise.
That feels essential.
Absolutely crucial. And even using the challenges, that negative comment, that online disagreement, using them as practice, opportunities to observe your own reactivity without judgment, to practice equanimity, to learn about your own triggers.
Seeing challenges as teachers.
Yes. And finally, considering how you can consciously contribute positively. How can you use these platforms to share something of value? An insight, a thoughtful reflection, a word of encouragement, spreading a little light, you could say.
It makes me think of stories about wise figures like Ananda, maybe, who didn't just stay isolated, but brought teachings right into the middle of a busy city.
A wonderful parallel.
Perhaps the digital world, for all its chaos, offers a similar kind of city square, a place to share wisdom and foster genuine connection if we choose to.
Exactly. It's about dissolving this artificial line we often draw between the digital world and the real world. They're interconnected. Our offline values, our inner state, they infuse our online presence, whether we realize it or not.
So it really leads to a final, quite profound question, doesn't it? What might happen if we started to view every click, every comment, every interaction online as a sacred act?
Imagine that.
Imagine the potential ripple effect if we all approached it that way. A global network infused with compassion, awareness, maybe even a little wisdom.
It's a vision of transformation, isn't it? Not by inventing new technology, but by fundamentally shifting how we show up, how we choose to be within the technology we already have.
This has been incredibly insightful. It really shines a light on how we can bring more awareness, more intention into this huge part of our modern lives, aligning our digital actions with deeper values.
It's a reminder that even in those fleeting online moments, there's always an opportunity to cultivate something meaningful, something positive, both for ourselves and for others.
Thank you so much for exploring this with me today. It's given me a lot to think about.
And thank you. May we all navigate these digital spaces with a little more mindfulness, aware of the energy we bring, the seeds we're planting. These tools hold immense potential when wielded wisely.
Indeed. And for everyone listening, perhaps take a moment now just for some quiet reflection. Consider your own relationship with the digital world. What kind of presence do you wish to cultivate there? What seeds are you planting today?